Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of congregational humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. I'm David Breeden, Senior Minister. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Jim Fody. Hey, I'm Reverend Jim Fody. I'm one of the assistant ministers here. I'm not used to people saying good morning back yet. There's actually people in the room here, so it's my privilege to welcome you to the multi-platform weekly assembly of the First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis for April 3rd, 2022. Whether you're here with us in person or you're joining us online, we are glad to have you as part of our Unitarian Universalist Humanist community. Those of us gathered here on site are continuing to wear masks to help protect the most vulnerable among us. At the same time, the COVID numbers are pretty good, so we're going to do a little more singing this week. We'll do that with our masks on, except for Jane, who will be up here. And then after assembly, we'll have treats and coffee downstairs, and so there'll be a mix of masked and unmasked down there. We want people just to be aware of that as they make their choice of what to do. Folks watching online, we're grateful you chose to join us, and we encourage you to connect and comment in the chat. And if you're interested in a Zoom coffee hour, online folks, please contact me. We still have a small group of people who want to do that, and we're hoping to get something up and running by next week. As usual, there is still plenty going on in our FUS community. The Friday update email offers fresh listings of events, happenings, and ways to connect in person and online. And our website has many more ways to get involved. And we have a busy April ahead of us. On Sunday the 17th, we have a big Earth Day celebration to look forward to. You will not want to miss that. And please mark your calendars for the 24th, which will be my final Sunday at FUS. You are all, I know. Yes, we can be sad, but we're also going to have a festive day that day. David, Kelly, and I will be speaking, and we've got some special music, and it should be a pretty festive send-off. If not completely tears-free, it should still be pretty fun. One more thing I wanted to point out is that our FUS men's group, after 2 years, is going to return to in-person meetings next week, starting Sunday at noon. And you can check the Friday email or our website for more info about that, or you can reach out to me. Our assembly theme for April is Awakenings, and we open this new month with a bit of timeless wisdom. It is said that soon after his enlightenment, the Buddha passed a man on the road who was struck by the Buddha's extraordinary radiance and peaceful presence. The man stopped and asked, "My friend, what are you? Are you a celestial being or a god?" "No," said the Buddha. "Well then, are you some kind of magician or wizard?" Again, the Buddha answered, "No." "Are you a man?" "No." "Well, my friend, then what are you?" The Buddha replied, "I am awake." Come, let us gather in community.
I want to welcome back Dale Alexander on piano today. And FUS's very own wonderful Tim Rail. We've got some of Tim's favorite songs that were written before I was born, but I'll try and do them justice.
And before I was born. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a soil, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
Toward meaning and connection in the here and now. Now we are going to sing. Jane, are you going to be up here for the singing? Please, please rise. Another thing I haven't said in a couple of years. That's, oh, I was misinformed. My sheet of paper says otherwise. But let us, what are we doing, David? Whatever. Let's sing and then do the covenant. All right, come on. 301 in the Gray Songbook, or you can look on the screen now, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. All right.
Okay.
All are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star to build a dream.
Please remain standing for our covenant. Love is the spirit of this place, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. Please be seated.
Now a message from your stewardship team. It's budget planning season, and we're a little bit in the dark here. Ted Lasso says there are two buttons I never like to hit, the panic and the snooze. The board met to review the first draft of the budget for next fiscal year with incomplete information. 39% of you still need to turn in your pledge forms. 39%. If you've been hitting the snooze button about returning your pledge, even if you're keeping your pledge the same, now's the time to turn off the alarm and get her done. Help us live up to our full budget for next year so Alan Callender doesn't have to push the panic button. In 1881, the founders of First Unitarian Society stated their purpose: to form an association where people, without regard to theological differences, may unite for mutual helpfulness in intellectual, moral, and religious culture and humane work. Thanks to the generosity and time, talent, and treasure of our members and friends, we continue that vision today, promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice in a congregational humanist community that is democratically governed and self-supporting. Help support our unique mission by giving today at our website, through PayPal, or the new Vanco mobile app. Thank you.
Each week when we gather, we take a few minutes to reflect on the joys, sorrows, and milestones of the human experience. We do this so that we stay in touch with our own humanity. We do this to remind ourselves of the value of a moment of stillness. And we do this so that no one among us is alone, either in celebrating joy or in facing the burdens of life. This morning, we use this time to pause and honor the Trans Day of Visibility. It's hard to think of a time when it's been more important to lift up and celebrate our trans siblings. Trans people are under attack across the country in ways that echo the actions of authoritarian regimes throughout history and in the present day. It's critical that we pay attention to this daunting reality, but we must not ever let our minds define trans folk as victims. To do so would be to rob them of their identity. In this room and in this congregation, trans people are not an abstraction. They are essential members and friends of FUS. We would not be the community we are without you. We know the power and the beauty and the strength and the diversity of our trans folk. We know the gifts they bring to everyone's lives, the richness of personal experience, the wisdom inherent in each individual, and the wisdom gained on each trans person's journey. Every one of us, cis and trans and non-binary, can learn every day from the example of authenticity of trans folk. And we can deeply appreciate the joy and the humor, the flair and the realness, the commitment and the generosity and the love. As we mark the Trans Day of Visibility, we say to our trans people, we see you, we see the challenges, we see the flourishing, we see your full humanity. We love you, and we have your back. With gratitude for all of us and for all that is good, let us now share a moment of silence.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in a peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in a peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime, when the daylight comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning around again, the years keep rolling by. It seems like I've been here before, can't remember when, and I get a funny feeling that I'll be back once again. There's no straight lines make up my life, and all my roads have bends. There's no clear-cut beginning, and so far no dead ends. I know we've met 1,000 times, I guess you feel the same, but we don't know each other, it's just like a children's game. And as we meet each other, a thought runs through my mind that love is like a circle, let's go round one more time. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime until the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning around again, the years keep rolling by. Take it, Dale. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years keep rolling by.
Thanks for the great music today. And Jane, thank you for leading us as we get back into the habit of singing, even with cloth and such over our mouths. The gateless gate, or the gateless barrier, according to how it's translated, is a collection of Zen Buddhist koans from the 1200s of the Common Era. Koans are teaching tools in some Buddhist traditions. The most famous one asks, what's the sound of one hand clapping? A koan from that collection tells of a Zen master, Gattai. When a disciple would come to Gattai and ask a question about Buddhism, Gattai would hold up one finger. That's all he did in his teaching. He held up one finger for any question that was asked. Gattai had a young disciple, a boy named Tenru. Soon, when anyone would ask about the teachings at the monastery, Tenru would hold up one finger. When his teacher Gattai heard about this, he went searching for Tenru and cut off his finger. It's a little harsh in the monasteries. Naturally enough, Tenru screamed and ran away. Gattai called to him, and the boy stopped and turned. And when he did, Gattai held up one finger, and the boy was instantly enlightened. When he was on his deathbed, Gattai said to his gathered disciples, "All I know of Zen is Tenru's finger." Now, the editor of that volume from the 1200s offered this comment about that koan. He said, "Enlightenment, which Gatai and the boy attained, has nothing to do with a finger. If anyone clings to a finger, Tenru will be so disappointed that he will annihilate Gatai and the finger altogether." So, what the heck does that mean? Well, that's just it. It doesn't mean anything. That's the first mistake. If upon hearing the story you were not already enlightened or instantly enlightened by that, then you're not going to get it. You can't get it if you think about it. It's not a story about a finger. Conceptualize and you can't get it. Another koan, what happens to my fist when I open my hand? And no, it's not a story about a fist or a hand. But wait, you may be thinking, aren't religions and philosophies all about concepts? Isn't that all they do? Which is a very good question. Stick with me and explore awakening, enlightenment a little bit this morning, and I will make a case for something I'll call Zen humanism. Now, the book, The Varieties of Religious Experience, was published by the psychologist William James in 1902. By most accounts, it was the most important book of nonfiction written in the 20th century. All religions, William James claims, have a common nucleus. The first being a sense that there's something wrong about us as we naturally are. There's something wrong about us as we naturally are. And the second being a sense that we're saved from that wrongness by making proper connections. As I said last week, my contention is that the something wrong with us actually is human consciousness itself. We just don't know how to be conscious social animals. And the natural human response to that feeling of unease is to try to find a cure for it. Now, I quickly add that we don't always know that we've chosen something for a cure. Look around you: alcohol, food, drugs, greed, selfishness, violence, all of these and a whole lot more. They all can feel like a cure for that unease for a while. Now, William James founded the psychology department at Harvard. His brilliant insights into the core of religion spring from his unique and pioneering application of psychology and emotion into the study of human religions. William James was, yes, a person of his time, and he mistook aspects of Christianity that he thought then were truisms for all religions. A lot of that was wrong. Still, his insight that religions function for actual human beings as emotion, not theological concepts, was an important stepping stone to get the xenophobic Western world out of our own heads. And it got us down the road some way toward understanding that Zen koan. Religious thinking is actually religious feeling. It is necessarily pre-conceptual. You know how in cartoons, when a character runs off a cliff and doesn't fall until they realize it? A fulfilling religion is like that. It feels great, but if you start messing with concepts, you realize there's no there in any religious thought. It's emotion all the way down. It's pre-verbal and it is pre-conceptual. William James phrased it this way: but why, in the name of common sense, need we assume that only one system of religious ideas can be true? The obvious outcome of our total experience is that the world can be handled according to many systems of ideas, and is so handled by different people, and will each time give some characteristic kind of profit for which he cares to the handler, while at the same time some other kind of profit has to be omitted or postponed. Why, in the name of common sense, need we assume that only one system of religious ideas can be true? That's a good question. Why do people practice particular religions? For some, of course, it's coercion. You're forced to fit into a particular religion. You were born there. For others, it's purely cultural. Yeah, you were born there, but it's my religion now, and it feels right. So we've got the cultural aspect. We've got the coercion aspect. Also, we have the community aspect. A religion can provide a grounded, extended network of human relationships. Coercion, culture, community. I think those are the first big three for why people stick with religions. And then there's a fourth reason, because it makes sense of your existence and the nature of reality. And that's the one that converts usually come to. The religion I was born into doesn't make sense of things, but this one over here does. And so I'm going to pursue that. But wait, you may be thinking, religions and philosophies may or may not be all about emotion, but religions and philosophies are concept-generating machines, aren't they? That's why we have seminaries and whole master's programs and whole PhD programs to understand them. And yeah, you're right about that. For example, you're invited this afternoon at 4 p.m. The downtown clergy will be meeting at Plymouth Congregational Church. You know where that is probably. You can look it up. We'll be having a panel discussion on the concept of redemption. You're invited. There will be representatives of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and me. And I'll be giving a Unitarian Universalist humanist perspective on redemption. And, well, wait, it's a concept, right? In the tradition I was born into, Pentecostalism, the answer to what redemption means is lay it at the foot of the cross and be washed in the blood of Jesus. That's the answer. Amen. In that tradition, sin and redemption are between you and God. It's no one else's business. Judge not, lest you be judged, we say. And that is biblical. People outside Pentecostalism are skeptical about the way we do things in Pentecostalism. How can some high-profile preacher get caught absconding with funds and sleeping with prostitutes, and all he has to do is let go and let God, and everything's okay? Where's the justice in that? To which Pentecostal people will reply, there is no justice on this earth. The principalities and powers of human government are the work of Satan. The only justice is divine justice. Human justice is a farce. And that is one extreme. Unitarian Universalism and humanism are on the opposite extreme. Now, to be honest, also a bunch of our mainline Christian denominational friends are also on our extreme. Absconded with funds? Call the FBI. Prostitutes? Time for a sex offender treatment program. Secular redemption is what I will call that. You do your time, you get your certificate for taking a program, and we say, justice has been done, the paperwork goes into your file. But where is the redemption? Is it social redemption in that case? Individual redemption? Is there any actual forgiveness? Who would do the forgiving? So this is two concepts of redemption. Wash clean in the blood of the Lamb, or let the system deal with it. Secular redemption is slow and plodding and partial. Pentecostal redemption is quick and all-encompassing. And no, Pentecostals do not draw a line between religious sin, doubt, that kind of thing, and secular crime. There's no difference. It's all sin. I would argue that Unitarian Universalism does not have a cohesive concept of redemption for a couple of historical reasons. One is that the Universalist side of the house historically downplayed God's retributive justice. You're not going to burn in hell anyway, so don't be all that worried about it. And the Unitarian side of the house never exactly gave up the idea of predestination. If you commit a sin, it's because you never were actually saved anyhow, and so you are out of covenant. Both views, in other words, have an odd view of punishment and redemption. How do you punish sin? End quotes. Both the Universalists and Unitarians, and now the Unitarian Universalists, have used long-term shaming and shunning. Psychologist Jolanta Burke distinguishes between guilt and shame, and it's a little hard to pick these apart, but it's good to think about it a moment. When you feel guilty, she says, you think that you did something wrong. That's obvious. When you feel shame, you feel that there's something wrong with you for doing something. And you see the difference. Guilt, then, is when your own moral compass is working. Shame is when a community is imposing their moral compass on you. In small New England villages, where the majority of church members had exactly the same social assumptions, shaming and shunning were extremely effective. It's still effective among the narrow band of upper middle class Euro-Americans, but it's a very small group. In our multi-ethnic world, with social class in the mix, things begin to break down. It's not a New England green anymore. Shaming only works if everyone agrees on a certain set of social norms. Shunning only works if the shunned person cares about being excluded from the community. Otherwise, what the heck? And so Unitarian Universalism joins humanism and, frankly, most mainline churches, I would argue, in choosing secular political and therapeutic ways to punish. Clink or shrink, as we say out there. Clink or shrink, then it's fixed. And thus, we reinforce a system built on a heaping helping of upper middle class Euro-American assumptions. Back to that New England village green. We also call those assumptions white supremacy these days. Now, which of the two things I've described to you are better in terms of actual redemption? Well, better is one of those concepts that the Zen Buddhists would tell you, don't have one, don't do that. When we break things down into good and bad, and good, better, best, and bad, worst, worst, we're applying social norms that we have internalized as a set of cultural assumptions. And again, back to concepts again, right? We project those things which we deem good, better, best, then pursue those things that we consider important within the social confines of a particular group. And then we call that the good. I'm doing the right thing. But the good turns out to be largely about assumptions based in class and race. So wait a minute. Where is the foundation? How do we get out of that mindset? How do we become enlightened? So here's my proposal for you. I'm going to talk about Zen humanism, or Zen Unitarian Universalism, whichever. Can we imagine a Unitarian Universalism without concepts, is my question. What would it be like? Are UUism and humanism so caught up in concepts that they're only a finger held up, nothing more? And if the finger's cut off, would there be any meaning left within the conceptual assumptions? Now, let me think about some advantages to Zen humanism for a moment. First, Zen humanism would occur with a sudden realization, just like that enlightened moment maybe. And what would you decide? Well, dualism doesn't exist. There's simply no difference between matter and mind, body and spirit. It's all one, as our Zen Buddhist friends would tell us. Secondly, I think it would be about non-judgment, another big thing in Buddhism. It's the toughest of human emotions to control because we judge based on a visceral reaction within social norms, usually, right? And those cloud our knowledge. Zen humanism would be awake enough to distinguish between the so-called good of social and cultural assumptions among an us versus a good among them. Let's be very careful not to judge between us and them or this and that. Thirdly, if we accept the premise that religious and philosophical positions are true when they work, and I'll get back to that in just a moment, that's one of William James's central ideas, that they're true when they work for the people who are practicing them, then the conclusion is very clear. Why would we judge a Muslim for being Muslim? Why would we judge a Roman Catholic for being Roman Catholic? Why would we judge a Presbyterian for being Presbyterian? It doesn't matter. Your tools work for you. My tools work for me. And we can all be happy here. Then fourthly, Zen humanism would embrace nuance and subtlety, something completely missing from our national conversation. If we start from the assumptions that most political thought is mere convention and most social norms contain unexamined prejudices, then we're beginning from a place of humility. Humility that requires self-examination. Why do I really think that? Humanism, boiled to its essence, is about the ethics of social responsibility. I say that over and over again. It's not an individualist morality. It's a social norm and social relationship. Relational ethics, it's called nowadays. Ethics based in real human relationship. And that stops going into stereotypes and cliches about other people and other ways of being. It's about relying upon our own experience as human beings alive in the world, not on theories and concepts. And the one finger ceases to be the only story when you think in that way. No, it's not true that everything can be true. I mean, William James dealt with that very quickly. No, everything is not true. That's not it. The next book that William James wrote after Varieties in 1902 was Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways of thinking. There he reconsiders what he called common sense in the quote that I showed you today. Now James puts the idea into classic pragmatic terminology, calling ideas tools. Central to pragmatism, ideas are tools. Screwdriver, hammer, etc. Pragmatically, if a tool works, it works. And within pragmatism, therefore, it's true. If it works for you, it's true. What if it doesn't work, or what if there's no way to see if it works or not? Well, then it's not true. It's pretty easy. Religious experience, mystical experience, philosophical experience, if you don't feel it, it's not there. So, what about that sense that there is something wrong about us as we are? Yes, we have that. We're bound to search until we feel an answer. No concept is going to fix that feeling. It just won't. It's got to feel right. Zen humanism is humble about all of that, I would argue. What I say and what I know does not explain everything there is. I know that. I don't have all the answers. I don't even understand all the questions. So, what am I pontificating about? Well, I'm just saying we don't know, and that's okay. The world, the real one, where we live and breathe and have our being, as Paul would say, is compromised and imperfect. Yeah, it is. Look at the news. But still, that's okay, right? Whoever said that reality would be some other way. And, as I often say, if someone said it should be better, look at what they're trying to sell you. Jane.
Okay, so we're going to sing number 298 in the Gray Songbook, Wake Now My Senses. Just the first 3 verses.
Shall we stand, Jane?
Yes, we shall stand as you are able.
Yay.
Yay.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer the limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end.
Please be seated. And if you will repeat with me, please, our extinguishing the chalice words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All of these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again.
Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. We've both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie's over, it's 4 o'clock, and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Well, what we gonna tell you, Mama? What we gonna tell you, Papa? What we gonna tell our friends when they say, ooh la la, wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Well, I told your mama that you'd be in by 10. Well, Susie, baby, looks like we goofed again. Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. We gotta go home. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little Susie, wake up. The movie wasn't so hot, it didn't have much of a plot. We fell asleep, our goose is cooked, our reputation is shot. Wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie. Well, what we gonna tell you, Mama? What we gonna tell you, Papa? What we gonna tell our friends when they say, ooh la la, wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie, wake up, little Susie.
the music today. Now, you didn't know Susie was a Zen Buddhist monk, did you? But now you realize she has been enlightened. Our closing words are by Maya Angelou from her poem Continue. My wish for you is that you continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything for the good thing. Continue to float happily in the sea of infinite substance which set aside riches for you before you had a name. Continue, so may it be. Thanks for rocking, man. Thanks for rocking out.